Welcome back, everyone, to another Reddit story. We're back to Malicious Compliance. We have about 85 more subscribers until I get to 1,000. Yay! College printing balance. This is my story from 8 years ago. Like most colleges, the university I went to had a lot of BS fees. Most of these were inevitable. They also had a printing fee for us to use the printers around campus. Effectively, we were required to pay $25 at the beginning of each semester and would be deducted for each page we printed, less than a penny per page. Fast forward to my senior year. Before we graduate, we were required to do an exit interview with our financial counselor to understand our balance and repayment plans. That's when I noticed I still had around $90-ish in my printing balance. Obviously, I didn't want to have to pay for something I didn't use, so I asked how I'll get that money back. Apparently, there's simply no way they could reimburse me, and that you may still need to print paper before graduating. That's when they messed up. Let me rewind a bit. If you were on campus Wi-Fi, you had access to any public printer on campus at any given time. That means if the library was out of paper, I could print to my dorms and pick it up on my way to my room. Let me reiterate. I could print to any of the 30-plus printers no matter my location. Sure enough, my counselor was right. I did have to print something before graduating. I had to print this over 400 times on each printer simultaneously. I recently learned they have a new printing policy now. So, this is my opinion, but I think colleges and university are basically the biggest scam that we have, at least here in America today. I know in some countries they actually have free university studies, which sounds amazing. Here in America, at least with my experience, and I know with the experience of many other people, college-age kids, is that you pay for a course, you get like 1,000 different fees, and then you have to buy textbooks, which are updated yearly, and they're like $250 textbooks, $300 textbooks, and not much in the textbook has changed. The only thing that's changed is like where the page numbers are, so you can't use like an old textbook for a new year, because it's like the instructor will say like, read chapter blah 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 through blah blah blah, pages blah 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 through blah blah blah. And you go to those pages and it's a completely different thing than what your instructor's saying. They do that intentionally just to keep on churning that mill of just leeching college kids' money over and over and over. And a lot of the degrees now don't get you any money. There's a lot of people that are going for degrees that end up working like retail, or in my case, I'm now working in a box factory. Because that degree does no one any good. Unless, of course, you go into something like engineering, medical field, like a doctor, pharmacy, or something like that. But a lot of the degrees are not really worth it. Like, even if you were to go and be a teacher, I mean, God bless teachers. Just the amount of money that you need to spend to become a teacher, and they get, like, crap money out of it, it's ridiculous. I know that some states have some financial benefits, like, hey, if you become a teacher, we'll reimburse you X dollar amount, but like, college, man, it's just a scam. But this kid saying like, hey, can I get my $90 back out of the thousands of dollars I probably spent to, get my degree? And they're going to be like, no, you can't get it back. See, it's just free money for colleges. Not everyone prints off papers anymore. A lot of professors or whatever will take digital copies, so you pay that $25 fee from each student, and like each student might print off like $1 worth of paper a semester. They're just getting extra free money. I know the college I went to did that, and I know a lot of other colleges do the same thing. It's just a money-making scam, and good on this guy for like spamming all the printers and anything, because he did what he was paid to do. I mean, he paid for that service. Might as well use it. Mandatory integrity course. So I work at a pretty big company for a few months now. Working hours are great and flexible. Pay is good. So far, no reason to complain. That was until we entered a busy month with many deadlines. We are not allowed to work any overtime, but are expected to reach the desired deadlines. Even when you want to work overtime, you'd have to do it on your free time. Even with a busy month, most of us didn't mind working an hour or two extra each day because we enjoyed our work and the project was very interesting. 2 weeks into the busy month, and we get a corporate-wide email that we have to finish an integrity course online within the week, and we are not allowed to register overtime if we had a busy week. The course was supposed to take no more than 40 minutes if you skipped every spoken slide and did not count the mandatory quiz, which should be passed by 80%. Even when we asked for a change of deadline for this course, we were given a no for an answer. And if we did not have the time during the week, we could work on it when we got home, since it was an online course. So we did. All of us, together. The whole project group got together after work in a bar to do the quiz simultaneously. The questions were not randomized, and there were too few questions and too many of us for a margin of error, so we all would pass the quiz by at least 80%. And that's how we got our integrity certificate. So this guy just got hired on at this place for a few months, and they're already expecting him to do work at home for free. Yeah, I mean, you may like your job, it may be super interesting, and you don't mind pitching in an hour or two here or there, but man, if you start doing that, I mean, I've said this with customers, but it goes with just people in general. If you do things once for someone, then they'll expect it the next time, or they'll demand it in this case. Hey, we want you to go ahead and meet this deadline. Oh, we're also going to have you do this extra quiz thing. Don't worry, you can just breeze through it, whatever. It's going to take 40 minutes, whatever, 50 minutes, an hour, 2 hours out of your time, but you can get through it if you breeze through it. I remember when I worked at McDonald's, there was a manager that we worked with that I was a dumb 18-year-old kid at the time, and we would be closing at night, and we had to be out by, I don't remember, let's just say 1 a.m. We had to be out by 1 a.m. So our manager would just say, like, hey, we're not done, go clock out and let's finish up. So that she would have us clock out and then finish whatever work. We'd still be there for like 15-20 minutes just so that we wouldn't get yelled at for staying extra the previous night. Like, I don't like the idea of people expecting you to do free work. What would have been better in this situation, which they probably wouldn't have done it because, I mean, job security is a thing. But instead of doing the whole, like, going to a bar after work and doing all the quiz together, you should have just stayed after work, did all the quizzes together, and, charged the company for it. Got overtime. If you all do it, then it's less likely for them to fire everyone because they need a department. They can't just rehire a department. But if one person does it, then yeah, they'll just probably reprimand that person and just fire that one person. But this is why unions are a good thing in some cases, just kind of being able to like get together and just say, hey, you can't make us work for free. I don't know. I know unions are kind of a divisive topic, but they're not all bad in a lot of cases. Like, if a union was a part of this group, they could have just went to the union reps and said, hey, they're expecting us to work an hour or two every other day, every day after work. The union would have gone to the company and just said, no, you can't do that. You guys got to compensate us. Now, you'd also have to pay union fees, so it kind of washes out, but at least you don't have to put in that extra work for nothing, and kind of retained a little bit of dignity, not being able to be pushed around as much. The egg can't break, you say? My mom reminded me this weekend about this childhood malicious compliance. One day when I was in elementary school many years ago, we were given an assignment to create a contraption that would protect an egg from a drop. My school had 4 stories, and the higher a drop it would sustain, the better you were judged. After reading the assignment, I realized that although creativity in design was encouraged, it wasn't explicitly required. I can only describe my design as a monstrosity of bubble wrap, styrofoam popcorn, and a collection of boxes that would rival Amazon's. I showed up at school with my design, and my teacher immediately questioned it. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of, I followed the rules. This story had become a cherished memory of mine because apparently when they followed up with my mom to encourage her to review complying with the spirit of things, her reaction was to tell them that my ingenuity was impressive to her, not a teaching moment. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, following the rules exactly to the letter of the T. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a malicious compliance, it would be a ultimate compliance, I guess, right? Because you're just following exactly the criteria, what is outlined for you. And if you're smart enough to be like, they didn't actually say what I had to build it out of, and that they only encouraged creative designs, well, shoot. I mean, hey, you know who can pack some really sensitive stuff and mail it to your house? Probably drop it multiple times before it gets to your house? Amazon. Let's do what Amazon does. I mean, yeah, exactly what this person said is that, you know, the mom just had to take a step back and just say, why am I punishing my son or daughter for this? Like, they took your rules and did exactly what you told them to do. So the project got an A, right? Thank you again for joining me on another Reddit story thing. So, funny story. My brother invited me to go camping on his property tonight, actually. And he said, oh, you want to come camping? Okay, bring your Xbox. I'm like, what? So, my brother has a camper, and he has property practically out in the middle of nowhere here in Utah. And the funny thing is that there's a cell phone tower that's like practically right next to his property. So he's basically out in the middle of nowhere, and he brings his electric generator with him to play World of Tanks on Xbox. Yep. So I'm going to rough it tonight. Gonna go pack my saddles. Gonna bring some extra coffee. Maybe some beef jerky just in case it gets cold out there. Maybe my hunting rifle. So yep, gonna go rough it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you wait. How do I do this? Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and share it with a friend. Yeah, that's how I do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So until then, later, kids.